Welcome back to the channel. This video is the first in a short series of probably 4 videos, I think, where I'm going to look at all the principles of cornering on the motorbike. I'm going to start with positioning. So in the last sort of instructional video I uploaded, it was to do with positioning for hazards and positioning for safety. This video is specifically going to be about positioning for corners, so that's positioning on the approach to corners, and then the position you should be looking to take through the corner and then on to the next one. And to make this video, I've bobbed down just a little south of Manchester towards Macclesfield. I'm going to ride on a road that, interestingly, I've never ever ridden before. Bearing in mind it's really close to where I live in the north of Manchester, and that's the Cat and Fiddle Road through the Peak District. Now, Cat and Fiddle Road these days is notorious because there's a lot of speed enforcement. It's 50 limits, things like that. It's not the road it used to be, certainly as far as speed limits and enforcement are concerned, but it's probably ideal for this video because the specific thing I'm going to look at is position on approach, through and out of the corners. And I don't really want to be absolutely hammering along the road while we're talking to you about those basic principles. So, positioning for corners. Let's start with a chat about positioning on approach. There's a lot you can do with your position on approach to a corner, and quite a few advantages from getting the right position. In very basic terms, on the approach to a right hand bend, as we've got coming up here, you will take a near side position, all things being equal, and there's no other reason not to. So that's near side position, or position 1 on approach to a right hander, and on approach to a left hander, let's wait for the next left hander to come up. On approach to a left hander, again, all things being equal and no reason not to, you will take position 3, or an offside position, up to, maybe close up to, if not on the centre line. So here's a left-hander coming up. I'm not going up to the centre line, but I'm going close to it on approach. So while we're taking those positions on approach, think of it in really simple terms. What I am looking to achieve on the road is the longest view possible. One of the videos that follows this in this series about cornering is about speed assessment, and the overriding principle there is you've got to be able to stop in the distance you can see to be clear. So the further I can see, the longer I've got to stop. In other words, probably a little bit more speed I can carry through the corner. And the less distance I can see, the slower I need to be going. So I need to be able to stop in that distance I can see to be clear. If you want to think of it in even simpler terms, I'm moving the bike and I'm moving my head a little bit to peep around the corner. So if I want to peep around this left-hander, I need to move to the right so I can peep around the corner like that. And I'm not going to move my head like this, obviously, when I'm riding the bike, I'm just exaggerating it. But I'll position here so I can get a better view around the corner. And for the following right-hander, if I want to peep around a right-hand bend or around a right-hand corner, I'll move over to the left. I can peep around that corner, again exaggerating my movements, but I can see further around the corner by moving to the left. So your first advantage of that near side offside position for left-handers and right-handers is you get the best possible view on approach to the corner, and the longest possible view through the corner, and that helps you with your speed assessment for the corner. Another significant advantage of taking that position is by moving to the right on approach to left-handers and left on the approach to right-handers, you are starting the process of extending the radius of the turn. So the tighter a corner is, the more we're going to have to slow down. It's going to be awkward to get round. The more open a corner is, and the less of an angle a corner is, the less we need to slow down. Very, very simple terms, to be honest, but getting the right position on approach to a corner is crucial in starting that process. It's not necessarily about carrying maximum speed around the corner. That isn't what riding on the road is about. It's mostly to do with asking less of the bike and asking less of you. So the less work we're asking the suspension and the tyres to do, the less work we're having to do, the more spare capacity both us and the bike have got. There's a section in Roadcraft that talks about the tyre grip trade-off. That basically means is the more tyre grip you're using up leaning the bike into the corner, the less you've got to brake and stop if we need to in emergency. So if we can get a good early position that gives us maximum visibility through the corner on approach and starts the process of straightening the corner or reducing the radius of the bend, we're making maximum use of our ability to move the bike. Now, there's quite a number of things that would stop you from taking those positions, especially the one you have to be especially careful for is offside or position 3 on the approach to a left-hander. Now in police driver training, police rider training, because the speeds are higher, officers on those driving courses will be encouraged to take quite extreme offside position on the approach to left-hand bends. But for sort of civilian advanced riding, not really necessary. And there is an argument that the risks outweigh the benefits. So generally we're going to limit our movements for position to this side of the road, if you like, to the left hand side of the white line. But there might be situations, of course, we're on a more open road, we've got a clear view into, through and out the other side of the corner, where you might get a bit more extreme with some of your positioning, especially offside through right-handers. So a couple of really significant advantages to going offside through right-handers if you can. Again, you're maximising the radius of the turn, straightening the corner as much as you can, keeping the bike as balanced and upright through the corner as you can. And also on a lot of roads you're getting the advantage of the crown camber by going offside on a right-hander. So here we are, start the Cat and Fiddle Road. Let's see what we think of this road, and I want you to specifically concentrate on the position I'm taking on approach to the corners and through the corners. And that brings me nicely on to the bit where we're going to talk about what we're doing through the corners. As we enter the corner, I'm going to talk in a later video, I'm going to talk about how we steer into the corner, how we use the throttle, all the rest of it. But as far as position's concerned, if we're going into a right-hander to start with, we're going to take a position to the near side on approach if we can, maximise our view, but we want to keep that advantage as we get into the corner. So we're going to tip the bike into the corner using a counter steering technique, catch the bike on the throttle, we'll talk about that, like I say, in another video. But where do you put the bike then? And when I first started motorcycling, there was a bit of uncertainty really through the corner. I sort of went into corners with one plan and then found it difficult to think about how I could change that plan if I needed to. But there's a really important principle of cornering that I want us to apply when we're thinking about our positioning and steering, and that is look where you want to go. You'll hear this from lots of other instructors, look where you want to go, and you will naturally steer the bike where you want to put it. So here, near side position on approach, third gear, roll the bike in, and then I'm starting to link one position to the next. As I turn in, I'm going to keep it near side, then only as I get into the corner will I then start bringing it towards the centre. Now I'm up towards the offside, but I don't want to keep that offside as I turn into the corner. What I want to do is bring it back in towards position 2, because the risk on left-handers, especially blind left-handers, is that these oncoming drivers will clip the white line. So if I hold an offside position on the approach to this left-hander here, the danger is that somebody coming the other way, and you can see how worn that white line is, somebody will clip that white line. So for left-handers, what I'm doing is immediately tipping it into position 2. there into position 2. Oh, it's a good little corner, twisty old road, isn't it? So on the approach to this left-hander now, I'm going to take a near side position. And I want to hold that near side position until I can see that the road is opening up. At that point I'll bring it back across and then out to position 3 for the next corner. So think about this right-hander again, in towards the near side on approach. Looking at the limit point, I'll talk about that in another video, that's moving, rolling through, but I'm going to move away from that car in the junction. Centre line position for this left-hander, tip it into position 2. Near side position for the right-hander, hold that near side position, then out towards the centre line for the next left-hander. Near side position on approach. I'm holding this near side position for this series of right-handers. Near side position, keeping it as we tip the bike in. Try and maintain that near side position as long as I can until I need to move back out again for the left-hander. Now when we're taking a near side position, we're not right in the gutter, we're not right up against the curb or in the grids. We're on the best part of the near side, so maybe 12 to 18 inches away from the near side curb. For an offside position for left-handers, again, it's a bit up to the white centre line, certainly not on it. Really want to hear the cat's eyes bobbing under the tyres. And we've got to be ready to compromise that position if we need to because of oncoming vehicles. So out towards the centre, I can see the road's going all the way around to the left there. Centre line position, not on the cat's eyes. Tip it into position 2. Near side position, position 1. Keep that on the way in. Rolling gently on the gas. Keeping a near side position for this right-hander. There we've got the average speed cameras. Again, keeping a near side position on approach to the right-hander. And then out towards the centre line. What you'll start to see I'm doing now with the position is I'm linking one corner to the next. So this is the other thing that you need to bear in mind with your positioning for corners. As you negotiate in one corner, you'll notice that my head's up, I'm looking through the bend where I want to position the bike, but I'm also looking for the next corner and where it's going, because that has a direct effect on where I'm going to position the bike as I exit this corner. So this one's going into a left-hander, I'm going to position 2 away from this one in case it grooves out. But as I negotiate this left-hander, I'm coming off this bend straight into a near side position for the right-hander, keeping that near side position. And then out to the centre line for the left-hander. Looking up to the top of the hill, I can see the road sort of snaking away and then going into a sharper left-hander. So here, off that left-hander, I'm going to position near side for the right-hander. As I come around the right-hander, I'm going to use the bend to position myself here offside for the left-hander and then tip it into position 2. Eyes in the distance, I can see the road bending round to the right and the left and the right again. So linking those corners together, near side position on approach, roll through with a near side position, then as we get through the bend, I want to finish off towards the centre line and then tip it in towards position 2. Little opportunity to overtake there. In towards the near side, looking through the bend, and this overtakes on if this car doesn't cut the corner. Out towards the centre line for the left-hander, holding this position but just minding those potholes. Centre line position on approach. What a tight one this. Slowing down a couple of gears, tip it into position 2. Keep that position 2, looking through the bend, eyes towards the top of the hill now. Keep a near side position here, but actually we can take a bit off this. I've got a clear view through, why not? Making it less hard for us asking less of the bike, keeping the bike more upright through the corner. As in the distance now, I can see all the way off around that left-hander, right into the distance. So hopefully that little demonstration shows you the basic principles of positioning on approach to corners, through corners, out the other side, and then that slightly more advanced technique of linking one corner to the next. So as I'm exiting one corner, I'm looking at the next one, choosing the position for that next corner, so that my exit line from the one corner puts me in the right position for the entry for the next corner. So in the next video I'm going to look at speed assessment for corners. I'm hoping there's another nice little twisty road around here we can use. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Press the notifications button, you'll get an email every time I upload a new video. Have a look at the website, reglocal.com. Loads more information there about advanced and performance driving and riding. Information about the books and how you can get a day's coaching with me if you like, either in the car or on the bike. And give us a follow on Twitter at reglocal. But for now, thanks for watching, and hope you've enjoyed the Cat and Fiddle road. I can see why it's so popular with bikes, to be honest. Shame it's got such a heavily enforced 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.